guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So to start off this Urban Decay Naked Heat Palette tutorial, I'm going to be prepping my skin, and to do that I'm taking my Nivea Daily Moisturiser. I like the oil-free one because I feel like it sits better, particularly under makeup, and I'm just moisturising my face with that. And then I did use a primer. This one's by Lancome. It was just a sample that I got that I wanted to try for the video, but I don't really recommend it. It didn't do much to my skin, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm using it anyway. And then I'm going to go in with my foundation. Today I'm using the Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and I'm just blending that out with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. To contour, I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC50, and I'm just placing that in the hollows of my cheekbones and then again blending it out with the sponge. I'm just going to whiz through my foundation routine in this video because it's kind of the same as in my last few videos, so I don't want to bore you too much. For concealer, I'm going to be taking the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm mixing 1 pump of NC20 with about a quarter of a pump of NC50 just to darken it up a little bit. And again, nothing new here. I'm just placing that under my eye area, on my chin, centre of my forehead, down the centre of my nose, and blending it all out. And to set that all in place, again, banana powder in every video. I'm just packing that on top of that concealer so it stays all day, doesn't move, doesn't crease. So I've not really been a fan of baking lately, so I'm just going to dust most of that off, but I'm leaving the powder underneath my eyes. I'm not sure how much fallout the Urban Decay palette is going to have because I've not used it before. So I'm just leaving that powder there. In case it does have fallout, it will just fall onto that powder and dust straight off without ruining the foundation. To set that contour and add a little bit more depth, I'm just taking my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Golden Tan, and I'm just placing that all over those contoured areas to set it in place. I tend to use a few different shades to contour, so I'm going to go in with my Sleek Contour Kit, and I'm going to be placing that over the top of the Mineralized Skin Finish just to give me a bit more of a shadow. And with that same contour kit on a smaller brush, I'm just going to be contouring the sides of my nose. I don't usually do this, but for some reason today I just felt like doing it, so I did. For an all-over golden shimmery bronzer, I decided to use this Makeup Revolution Vivid Bake Bronzer in the shade Rock On World. It just gave me a nice glow, a nice sheen to the skin. And then to highlight the skin, I used a Makeup Revolution Strobe Highlighter in the shade Gold Addict, which I was actually quite impressed with. For £3, it wasn't bad at all. So that's my base pretty much done. I'm going to do my brows off camera and then come back and move on to the good stuff. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat Palette. I'm going to give you a moment just to look at it. Yeah, so it is a pretty special palette. I've tried a few of the Naked palettes. I've never been more excited about a launch of a palette, more so than the Naked Heat, because it's just right up my alley. Warm tones, orangey, browny, redsy. Yes, yes, yes. Loving it. It's a great palette. Go out and buy it if you can. You won't regret it. So I'm just priming my eyelids with the Urban Decay Original Primer Potion so that the eyeshadow lasts all day and doesn't crease. And then to kickstart this eyeshadow look, I'm going to be taking the shade Sourced on a Sigma E40 blending brush and buffing that into the crease. Making sure it's nice and blown out, almost all the way up to the brow. This is quite a light shade that we're starting off with, so it does build up, by the way, though. You don't want to go in too heavy with it because it will get darker. But yeah, it's great though. It blends out nicely, it's nice and pigmented, it's not too powdery. No fallout from this palette. I could have easily have dusted away that powder and just gone straight in and not had to worry about fallout, because there is none. So I'm just going back and forth in the crease with that E40 brush. It's nice and fluffy so you can get a really soft blend, and I'm doing big circular motions to really blow it out. And because I want this to be really blown out, I'm also using that same fluffy brush to place that colour on the lower lash line. I don't really care how low I'm going with this because it's quite light, but it's going to add to the really blown out effect at the end. Then on a smaller fluffy brush, I'm going to be taking the shade He Devil. I love the names of these shades. This palette on a whole just gives me really good vibes. Anyway, I'm taking the shade He Devil and I'm placing that in my crease, and again, circular motions to blend it out. I do like to go in with a few layers of colour, so I start off with a small amount on my brush and then build it up. But in between each layer, I tend to pick up my bigger fluffy brush that I used before to blend out the edges and make sure they're nice and soft. So there's that fluffy brush just blending out the edges. There is no extra product on that brush, just whatever was left over from before. And then I'm going to take the Zoeva brush with the same shade, He Devil, and I'm placing that on my lower lash line again. And then on a more tapered Zoeva brush, I'm going to be taking the shade On Fuego, which I think means on fire in Spanish, correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm just placing that in my crease, and again, circular motions, blending it out. And as I said before, I always like to soften the edges with the previous brush. So the previous brush and shade that I was using was the Zoeva brush with He Devil. So that's the brush I'm going to pick up to soften out the edges of En Fuego. Using a few different brushes really helps you to get the most seamless blend you can possibly get. So once I've done that, I'm then going to go back in with the first brush that I used, again no further product, and blend that out even further. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Ashes on a flat definer brush, and I'm going to be defining my lower lash line. So I'm placing that right against my lashes and wiggling it back and forth. Then on a MAC 217, I'm going to be taking the shade Ember, which is kind of like a duochrome. It's sort of pinky, browny, bronzy. I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's really interesting and I really like it. So I decided to place that all over my lid. And then so there's no harsh lines between those shades, I'm going to be using the Zoeva brush to blend it out. In my waterline, I'm going to be placing some MAC Feline eye pencil, which is a really rich, creamy black eyeliner. So I'm just placing that in my waterline, and then I'm going to take a pencil brush and rub that right into my lower lashes to really smoke that out on the lower lash line. Once you've done that, you'll have some leftover product on the brush, which you can kind of wiggle against your top lash line just to create a bit more of a smokiness and a bit of a depth. If I'm not going to be adding a winged eyeliner, I always like a little bit of depth on my top lash line, just so the lashes kind of sit nicely and there's no gaps in between the falsies and my lashes. So I'm just rubbing that brush right against my lashes. I also went in with a little bit of He Devil and En Fuego on another brush just to blend out that lower lash line a bit more. And then I tight lined with that MAC Feline eye pencil. I also run that pencil right up close to the lashes and then blended it out just to give a bit more definition there. And then I went back into the palette and took some of the shade Lumbra on a pencil brush, and I used that to highlight the inner corner of my eye. After that, I just dusted off that banana powder and went in with a coat of mascara to the top and bottom lashes before adding falsies. The false lashes that I used in this video are from My Lash Fix, and they are in the style Kylie. These lashes are so soft and so light and comfortable to wear. I do find they get better as well as time goes on. They sort of loosen up and they're even more comfortable and they have that sort of worn in look. So I will link everything down below for My Lash Fix. They do ship internationally, so if you want to check them out, definitely look in the description box. They will be down there. For my lips, I used a liquid lipstick from Colourpop. This is in the shade Wild Nothing. I felt like it really went with the look. It was kind of like an orangey brownie shade, so it just worked really well. And then I went in with a little bit of blush. This is Copper Tone from MAC, a nice rusty shade. So again, perfect for this look, and it was my favourite MAC shade for a while. As you can see, I've hit pan on it. But yeah, that's it guys. I hope you liked this tutorial. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section and I will reply. I love reading your comments. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!